shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who is fearless. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause in a world of reckless automobiles. These are my motovlogs.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Your boy Chris is out on the go and out on my DCT. Early morning ride. Out here, y'all. Current temperature right now is from 77 degrees. The air temp. Having a chance to rain with these pop-up showers, but it's a good day to always get out on the go when they say rain is nothing but sunshine in the summertime. Good, y'all. So today, I have a kind of surprise announcement. I've actually gone back to my dark side. I've actually went back to the car tower. You know, my intentions were to run the missions out for the remaining of the year, but I just wanted to give you guys an early review of how I really feel about the missions, and then I'll come back to my car tire. But I don't want to compare car tire to a mission motorcycle tire. I do not want to compare Michelin motorcycle tire to a car tire. Okay, but as it relates to the Michelin, I think that if you are looking for the best motorcycle tires for your Honda Goldwing, the best motorcycle tires, I think you can't go wrong with Michelin. Michelin makes some of the best tires. I have them on all of my vehicles, trucks, and I've just even tested them on this Goldwing for a short period of time, and actually they handle really, really good for motorcycle tires. So if I was going to run motorcycle tires on my Honda Goldwing, it has to be Michelin. You know, I've always had good results out of Michelin. As it relates to dark side, the car tire, because I don't want to compare it to the Michelin. You know, my Goldwings just feel better to me, the car tire. But why is that, Chris? Well, I'm glad you asked, man. First of all, let me say this. I don't think everybody needs to be dark-sided. Let's just get that straight. You're surprised how many people say, well, Chris, you know, you haven't convinced me yet. You know, I'm not trying to convince you. This is what I do for me. If you want to try it, that's up to you, but I'm not trying to convince anyone. But I will give you my honest opinion and tell you who I believe would be a great candidate to run a car tire. Because everybody, for one, doesn't need to run a car tire, and everybody is not a good candidate for a car tire. Only a specific type of rider. So let me say this. If you are a rider and you like to just ride aggressively, you want to scrape your saddlebags off the bike, you want to ride like a 20-year-old with your hair on fire, you want to ride aggressive, just ride a motorcycle tire. So let's just get that straight. If you're that kind of rider that you want to scrape off the side of your saddlebags, you want to get the elbow down, you know, you got something to prove, you know, you're having a midlife crisis and you want to scrape off your pegs, get you a regular motorcycle tire. Get you a Michelin. You'll be surprised how many riders. Well, I ride aggressive, but just get you a motorcycle tire. Get you a regular Michelin motorcycle tire. But as it relates to a car tire, who do I think makes a great candidate? For one, I think that if you ride a big touring motorcycle, like a Honda Goldwing, and I'm just going to keep it strictly Goldwings. I'm not even going to bring in Harleys and all these other types of motorcycles. I'm just going to refer it to the Goldwing. If you ride a big Goldwing, if you do a lot of long distance traveling, let's say you got a big Goldwing and you only ride on the weekends and you don't really go far, and maybe you just, you know, you kind of like bar hop. You really don't even leave outside of the city limits. Stick to a motorcycle tire. You're not a good candidate for a car tire. Car tire is for the rider that rides a big Goldwing. For one, he likes to ride a lot of miles. A lot of miles. If you're riding 12,000 miles a year, 15,000 miles a year, 20,000 miles a year, I think a car tire would be a great asset to the rider that rides those kind of miles. If you pull a trailer, you ride a big Gold Wing, and you pull a big trailer, you're always traveling. You got your passenger on the back, and you're always traveling, two up. You ride a lot of miles. You pull a trailer. I think that you need a car tire. I think you'll make a great candidate for a car tire. Just because you ride a big Gold Wing doesn't mean you make a good candidate for a car tire. You like to ride aggressive, stick to a motorcycle tire. But if you like to ride with some sense, you're riding like your age. You know, most people out there that watch my videos is older than me, in their 60s and 70s and up. If you ride like you got some sense, I think a car tire would be a great asset to a biker that rides with some sense. Riding a big Gold Wing, you're logging a lot of miles. You're always riding two up. You're pulling a trailer. You're traveling a lot. That type of rider would be a good candidate, in my personal opinion. But again, dark side is not for everybody. Ride aggressive, stick to a motorcycle tire. Now, that's not to say you can't ride aggressive on a car tire. I know there are some riders out there say, wait a minute, Chris, I got a car tire and I can ride aggressive. I can scrape off my saddlebags and all of that. I know, but I got to separate it, because everybody doesn't qualify. Everybody doesn't need to be riding a car tire. So if you're an aggressive rider, if you say, hey, I am an aggressive rider, stick to a regular motorcycle tire. You know, we got to separate this thing, because everybody doesn't qualify to be a good candidate to ride a car tire. So if you ride aggressive, ride like you're 20 years old, you're scraping off your saddlebags, just ride a motorcycle tire. Plain and simple. But if you're riding a big Gold Wing, you're always riding two up. You're logging a lot of miles. You're pulling a trailer. You're riding from coast to coast. I think that the car tire is better. I think you're a great candidate, in my opinion. So why do I ride a car tire? Well, I'm glad you asked. For one, it has a heavier load rating. You know, the Honda Gold Wing, you know, wet is almost 1,000 pounds. So now you add a trailer. You add a passenger. You know, with that motorcycle tire, you're already over the weight limit. So the car tire has a heavier load rating. I think like 1,200 pounds, maybe 13, depending on which run flats you put on your bike. So you got a heavier load rate. You know, you got that wider footprint. Your bike is going to stop faster because it grips the road better. It channels more water. Those are some of the benefits of running a car tire. Now, I know there are some people out there that say, well, you know, a car tire wasn't designed. I get that. A man wasn't designed to fly in the air, but man figured out a way to fly in the air. So, you know, this country was built off of people doing things that other people said that couldn't be done. So if you think inside of the box, no, it doesn't make sense. But if you think outside of the box, then it makes a lot of sense. So I just want to put that out there to you guys, for you naysayers out there. And most of the naysayers out there has never ridden a car tire. So I've ridden my Honda Gold Wing across America at least 3 to 4 times on 2 different Gold Wings. And I never had a problem. I've never had an issue. So for my naysayers out there, never tried it, then keep the opinions to yourself. Then you got those kind of riders that say, well, I tried it, but I went back to a motorcycle tire because I didn't like it. I do understand. It's not for you. That's my whole point. It's not for everybody. Everybody has something to say. But majority of the people that's talking has never tried it. You know, I've had one rider say, well, you know, they're trying to outlaw, they're trying to ban car tires in Virginia. Well, Virginia doesn't speak for the great USA. Virginia can only speak for Virginia. But it goes back to what I said. Most people that has an issue with it has never tried it, has never ridden coast to coast. They've never even been on a big touring motorcycle. And some of you may have and went back to a motorcycle tire, and that's okay. So, because, again, it's not for everybody. Just want to put that out there. But I love having a wider footprint. I love being able to stop faster. To be honest with you, I just feel more secure with a car tire. You know, I'm always pulling my trailer. I got my trailer behind me in tow. I carry it with me everywhere I go, for the most part, 99% of the time. I ride a lot of miles. You know, I do a lot of highway traveling. That works best for me. The motorcycle tire works fine. It will work. Motorcycle tire is good. I just think the car tire is better. Just keep that in mind. Everybody is not going to be a good candidate to run a car tire. Everybody don't need to put on the car tire. You got those riders. Well, I like to ride aggressive. Yeah, stick to a motorcycle tire, buddy. And to my true dark siders that I know you can ride aggressive, you know, I just try to keep it separated, man, because everybody has an opinion. Most people that talk has never been on the dark side. They don't understand. They think inside of the box. It doesn't make sense. You know, the designers say it wasn't designed. Man wasn't designed to swim under the ocean, but man found a way. The country was built off of people doing things that others said that couldn't be done. But if you're looking for a good motorcycle tire, good motorcycle tires, everybody doesn't need the dark side. But if you're looking for a good motorcycle tire, I think Michelin makes the best motorcycle tires for the motorcycle. If I'm going to run motorcycle tires, I'm going to run Michelin's. But as it relates to a car tire, man, a big Honda Gold Wing pulling the trailer, traveling a lot of miles, dark side, baby. Woo! This is your boy Chris, out on the Gold Wing, and I'm back on the dark side, baby. Woo! And I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces!